Yeah, both. I want to know it all.
Okay. Um, long story short, in personal background, I was just lucky to have parents that believed in my education, and that included sex and relationship education. So as a child would ask things about, where do babies come from and how things happen, etc., I would ask those questions, and my dad would answer as a matter of fact. He would just answer as a stage appropriate kind of education. So if I was 5 and I asked where do babies come from, he would say something along the lines of like, well, again, that's in the 90s, like times have changed, but he would say something like, oh, well, when two people want a baby, the man would give a seed to the woman and they'll plant it in her belly. And then that's how the baby would grow and then they have a baby. So he wouldn't go into explaining a penis and vagina and a uterus and like all of these things because I was what, only like a child. So if my questions evolved, his answers would evolve with it. But further down the line, when I was a teenager, when I was 14, a non-government organization from my hometown came to school and they held a talk about domestic abuse and violence and human trafficking. And I felt that for the first time in my schooling career, I actually learned something about real life. And I was curious to know more and delighted when they said, we have a youth club. So if you want to learn more about these things, you're welcome. It's free. We meet twice a week to learn about those things. And I even used to skip school to go to the club meetings because they were so helpful and useful in understanding the world and what was happening and how relationships work. They even took us to multi-day trainings across the country to talk about how power dynamics work, what's a toxic relationship, how to recognize abuse, how to have like safe phrases with family and friends if something went wrong and we wanted to give them a signal that we're in deep trouble and they need to react in a, give them a signal in a non-conspicuous way. So these kind of learnings from that very early age laid the foundation for me to want to be a psychologist and to work in the field helping people with those kind of challenges.